Good afternoon. My name is Daniel Young. I'm the owner and founder of Adaptive Perspective, the Adaptive Perspective channel, and all of my social media platforms. My purpose is to help you make your dreams a reality. So, if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know I love strategy, specifically targeted strategy. And that awareness is key because I'm going to keep sifting through financial memes and sometimes financial emails, and look at those through the um, look at those, sift through those using our individual investment strategies as well as just some everyday down to earth common sense. This is an unedited video. Who knows what you'll hear in the background as I film these in my house. Uh, Currently, I believe my cats are asleep. I hope they are. They had a busy morning, but we'll see. Who knows? I have no plans of using our closed-end fund strategy today, but if I show that, I'll briefly review it. And I am not a financial advisor. I am a financial strategist. So as I make these memes, as I make these videos, it's not my goal to slander anybody. Generally, a lot of people put a lot of work in making their financial memes and offering financial advice. It's just that you and I both have to be better at filtering the advice because just because somebody says it's good doesn't mean it's a good fit for you. And just because somebody says it good doesn't automatically make it good advice. And I don't want bad advice. So, and in saying that, you should be treating my videos the exact same way, regardless of opinion, regardless of strategy. Is it good advice for you? And is it advice for strategy that fits into your strategy? So, where am I working off of today? I'm back to looking at financial means. And to get there, I will show you. There we go. Let me share my screen. So this is my Pinterest channel. Pretty much every social media platform, uh, say financially wise, has this background. We're operating off of this board. And if you get to the bottom of the board, I've done several videos already, and thankfully there is always a wealth of financial memes out there to review. So I've got 501 posted, but I think I've got at least another dozen on my phone that I need to upload. So we're here, and I'll let you read it. It's interesting advice. I don't know of anybody else suggesting a specific cap to your rental or mortgage payment. And it made me wonder how our, I guess, our current mortgage payment fit into this system. So I already did all that. So this is our existing payment. But it's, uh, I honestly don't know if I have our prior payment. We refinanced when rates were sub 3%. So we got like a 2 7/8% loan. We updated our house uh, for a lot of different reasons, or we'll say several different reasons. But this is our existing mortgage payment. This is the existing payment, factoring in our current home insurance and our HOA. Our HOA is do nothing, but they say they deserve a lot of money, but our HOA is kind of pointless. Um, let's see. This used to be, I think that used to be that used actually no. This last year, that was our home insurance. We found out we learned a lot in auditing our home insurance or maybe shopping our home's insurance. Uh, Market expectation says you should change your agent every 3 years ish, uh, just because you can get a better rate as a new customer than you can a returning customer. Um, and brokers, we started with we started with a broker that we've honestly had probably the last 15 years, but we never actually got an audit of our insurance. And we switched brokers, insurance brokers, to somebody who did audit our existing policy and found us the best rate in the current market. In that in that process, we learned that the state of Texas froze insurance rates during the pandemic. And that was helpful. Now, when I say froze, it should have frozen, but our insurance went up every year. And I know that because I keep track of that data. But maybe insurance companies weren't allowed to increase the insurance rates as much as normal. But I know our insurance went up throughout the pandemic or pandemic, depending on who you read and what you believe. Um, but in shopping, we shopped our insurance because Safeco wanted to raise our insurance rates by almost $3,000. They wanted to raise our rates over 6 grand. I want to say it changed maybe, no, I don't want to put a hesitant number on it. But Safeco wanted to raise our rate to like this. And we were like, wait. Nobody's got that kind of money. I mean, we currently escrow all of our tax, or we escrow our property taxes and utility fees, or MUD fees. Um, and we escrow all of that. So changing our payment upwards of $3,300 is going to jack our overall cost, and that's not cool. So we changed brokers, and I think we worked it down to this. So our options were to either, I mean, we're still going to have to increase our overall payment in order to make up for that. It's just not going to be as bad. But that's a pretty steep payment. Not many people have that cash lying around, one. And two, that's a considerable dent on anybody's monthly budget. To go from this for the year as opposed to this for the year, that's pretty astronomical. Now, Texas also decreased property taxes. Ours changed by about $1,000, so that's helpful. But that's still a huge dent. So how does that work out in general? This is a combined number. So it's our new insurance plus our HOA fees. So $550 for not much overall for an HOA, plus the $2 credit card fee, uh, divided by 12. So then that leaves you with this payment. So our current principal and interest at a 2 7/8 rate, that much for home insurance and HOA gives us that amount per month. But is that 25% or more or less of what our existing take-home pay is? Because what you make on paper is not what you make as it comes to what drops into your bank account. So I looked at that. And this number for my wife and I, of our numerous duties and all that stuff, right? That's our monthly take home. I mean, there's cents there. I just rounded to the closest dollar. Um, that's the take home times 25% max. And that's not far off of what we're paying, but also not what we're paying. Now, would it be that way? I have to pull another one up based on what it used to be. So that's what it is now. It used to be this, I think, plus the 552, 36 divided by 12. I'm going to have to pull up another calculator. All right, so now we get 753 plus 302. Right, now we're under his 25% guideline. Now, is it what you have to do? No, that's not the point at all. I mean, I'm always curious what ours lines up to this, but I've never seen anybody else put a cap on a suggestion of what your rent or your mortgage payment ought to be. And I also think it's interesting because not many people track all of those things. They just pay them. Um, I mean, there's guidelines in general for when you buy a house, right? With your loan to debt ratio, uh, or debt to value ratio. There's how much you can afford versus how much do you want to pay. Uh, some people are willing to take on an astronomical amount of debt and pay that every month. But is it advice you should follow? Everybody's different. We'll start with that, right? We've all heard that excuse. That's not really an answer. Everybody's different. Yes, that's true. But you saw our numbers in a 2 and 7/8 interest rate environment. If you think of the existing rate environment, a 6% loan is considerably more than what we would be paying for our house and insurance and all the other stuff right now. So if you follow this advice, could you legitimately follow this advice in a 6% real estate market? I don't know. I really don't. Um, if you're an investor, if you can make money on a rental in a 6% market or a 6.5% market, then you can make money in almost any market. But that's the investor side of things. And I've seen it more frequently. You have renters complaining of owners price gouging. Some do, but many don't. It comes down to, so on the ownership side, so you've got your loan, right? Your principal and interest of whatever you paid for your property. You've got property taxes, which changed this year in Texas. You have insurances, which whatever governance, whatever, like if you drive an older car or a company car, it might have a governor on the speedometer, meaning you can punch that pedal as much as you want, but it's only going to go so fast. Older school buses have that. And school buses have laws on how fast they're supposed to follow. Now, if your driver follows that or not, I don't know, right? Most coaches who drive a bus for teams would prefer to go 70 plus. But most school buses can only go 55 miles an hour because they have a governor or a limit or a control on the speedometer. So, and I've kind of lost my track of why that's important, but the uh, say ownership, you've got principal and interest on your loan at whatever rate. You've got property taxes. You've got insurance. You have an HOA. You've got flood insurance if you have to have flood insurance. Maybe you're on a home protect, like a home warranty. Maybe you've got some other home service that comes out and does your air filters and pest control. All of those things added together, however much you have, is your baseline rent that you have to cover a month. Okay. And then the the rent of your property is determined by the market overall. What's the going rate for rent based upon your schematics, your square footage, bedrooms and bathrooms, upgrades, age of the roof, what's on your property, all that stuff, right? So you have what your property should be worth based upon your existing market and what you have to cover every month in order to stay profitable. And profitable could be break even, $5 or $1,000 a month. Kind of depends on person. Our strategy on profit is we're unwilling to lose money. So whether we were at -$1, that would be losing money. Break even would be profit because that's profitable. That's money not out of our pocket, right? But ideally, we would all like positive cash flow. So you can be cash flow neutral at no profit because you're not losing money. So our strategy was cash flow neutral or cash flow or actual cash flow. So cash flow positive, which would be either cash flow neutral because you're not losing money, or actual money in your pocket every month. Um, but as an owner, you have to cover all the expenses, right? And that means as everything goes up, your rent will go up because you have to cover expenses. Now, pending your owner, pending the person who owns the real estate you're renting or leasing, then maybe they do price gouge. I don't know. It just depends on their individual strategy. But you also have the existing rate. Like if your owner is price gouging, like they jacked our rent $300. Well, if everybody else did it, that's not, you can think everybody's price gouging, but that's also just the cost of things going up. Our insurance going up, trying to go up a full 3 grand, right? Double of our existing policy. That means if we stayed with that, or if we rented, we have to cover that cost somehow. That means we have to raise our tenants' rent. Now, is it something we'd like to do? No, that's egregious, right? But you have to have property insurance. And that's the catch on the insurance side. You own a home, right? It's backed by a bank loan. You have to have insurance. That's part of the deal. You can't just be like, nah, we're okay. You have to have the insurance. And that's the catch 22. Nobody wants their insurance to go up. It's something you are required to have. And it is beneficial, but to have it go up that much is egregious. Uh, but if you own the property and somebody's paying your rent, it's like, look, man, I'm sorry, but here's the deal. Now, maybe it depends on how you present the data, right? Here was your rent, here's your rent. Sorry, that's it. Or you could say, look, here's the deal. I'm going to teach you how this works. Here's my principal and interest. Hey, that's really low. Yeah. But then also, here are the other bills I have to cover. And here's what they actually cost. And here's how all of that together impacts the rent, right? There's a difference between Well, there's a difference in how you treat your clients. There's a difference in how you treat your renters. There's a difference in how you teach the people who are helping your business. But as it is just your property, like we're owning our house. I guess you could argue we're renting our house, but we own our house. The principal and interest haven't changed. That loan is locked. When they escrow your taxes for you, uh, if you suck at managing money, it's probably much better for somebody else to collect all of those things for you. Like if you can't manage money, if you're always scrambling to make ends meet, or a lot of times in the red, then it is beneficial to have that bank manage your money for you because you can't. So when uh, if your property value, not your property value, if your property taxes drop by 1,000, but your insurance goes up 3,000, you're still out 2,000 extra dollars, right? And then divided over 12 months, um, it was like break even math I could. So 2,000, right? That's an extra $170 you have to pay a month. If you're doing that on your own and collecting your own money to then make your escrow payments, if you could manage your money well, that might be a good opportunity because you could put it in a high interest account and then gain interest on the money you're saving. If you suck at managing money, then it's better off the bank does it. But now the problem is either A, you have to fork over the increase in cash up front to really offset how much your escrow is going to go up a month, right? Or B, now you're offsetting your escrow almost $300 extra a month on top of what you're already paying. So I say all of that, and I give you all of that information to say it's a good suggestion on Ramsey's side to put a cap on things. The problem is very few people actually know all the data when they buy a house. Very few people know everything when they buy the house. And even over time, very few people pay attention to it. So it's a great guideline because think of it, if you're paying say, do you know, had a lot of calculators up. Now I don't. Do you know your overall take home pay? Uh, my wife and I teach, and the take home pay has not changed much. We have what the district offers as a bonus, right? We gave you a 3% bonus to counter inflation. That's not a bonus. And that's not a raise. That's offsetting inflation. And that's if you believe the Fed's rate that inflation is 2% or 3%, and it's not. Um, but of what it's scripted out, teachers might get like there's 35 or 40 different steps or years of experience. And as you step your way into the next year and year after, your actual raise is like anywhere from $100 to 300, maybe 400 a year. That's very different than a traditional job where you're actually getting a raise every year. So wonderful. Um, my girls are out shopping, so they've been text bombing and phoning in the midst of my videos. So it's not like our salaries change much year to year. So if you don't know what you really make take home, and like most people don't really know what they pay out of pocket for rent uh, and your home mortgage, it's really hard to follow any kind of advice because you don't have all the information. And has our pay increased that much to really offset the increases in insurance or uh, increase the supposed value increase as deemed by our county? No. Um, yeah, no. So of what used to be there, which I don't honestly know what was there, but I'll put it on the low end of things. If that's our combined pay, then that's close. Then that's our cap, according to Dave Ramsey. But what if you don't really know? What if it's actually higher, right? It's just going to cost you more and more to own a house, which also means it's taking money away from other things that you could be doing inside your budget. Um, and if you don't know any of this, if you don't know how to budget, if you don't know why it's important, I'll be the first to tell you that the budget's amazing, but it is not the end all be all solution that people will advertise it as. But if you want overall advice on budgeting, if you want a system that will help you get from where you are to where you want to be, more text from my girls. Um, if you want a system that gives you a framework and guidance on that, then by all means, check out my Facebook group, Navigate Your Finances. Um, but as it pertains to this, I really I've never seen anybody put a cap or a recommendation for monthly rental or mortgage payment. And you be the judge. Is 25% the best number? That's a good number in this environment. I think it would be really easy to hit in a 3% rate environment. I don't know if you can honestly hit that in a 6% rate market. Yeah, I have no idea. So yeah, I don't know. So, but if you can hit that in a 6% rate market, like if you've got an over 5% rate on your loan and you're operating at 25% or less on your payment, then I would like to hear from you. Uh, and you don't have to put in a ton of particulars, but I'd be interested. Like, what's your principal and interest? What's your say the stuff you're paying for? So the home insurance, your your mud taxes, your homeowner's policy, if you've got flood insurance, all that other stuff. If you broke that out in the comments, I would love to hear from you and see what you're paying and see how you're under 25% of your existing salary or your take home pay. Uh, and that also might be the caveat. Like if you're in a job that pays you more than we make, then it might be easier to hit 25% or less. I don't know. Uh, yeah, I don't know. But for us in this market, there's no way we hit 25%. Like if we have a 6% loan and all the other stuff stays the same, there's no way we'll blow that 25% out of the water. So if you like the content, consider subscribing to my channel. Hit the like button. It really does influence how other people react or how other people interact with my channel and my videos. So hit the like button, subscribe, and then head over to Facebook and check out my group there called Navigate Your Finances. And I detail out our system, our 12 steps to financial freedom, whether you want the same amount of freedom that we're seeking or whether you want a different amount, whether under or over, then that system is our system. And I detail out that structure, that framework for free. Um, as you go about things, as you face your week, it really as you face whatever is in front of you as well as what is on your horizon. Captain your ship. Do the work, put in the work, do the research, take the time to progress your way through it, right? Whatever your existing budget is, don't be afraid to change it. Don't be afraid to change your financial strategy. If you find something better, if you find your system lacking and need to change it, don't be afraid to change that either, right? But whatever it is that you're seeking, it will not happen on its own. Like you can allow everything else to influence your actions. You can allow those winds to force your boat wherever you want. But if your dream is on that horizon, your boat's not going to make it there unless you captain your ship towards that destination. So make it happen. I will, yeah, whatever y'all have for the week, I hope it goes well. If you need help, uh, if you want advice, if you want somebody else to just chat with, or if you want to read someone else's take on figuring out this whole thing of getting from where you are to where you want to be, then come find me on Facebook. So hope you all have a great week, and I will see y'all on another video. Bye-bye.